This theatre, well, it's been my home now for over 30 years. There's no other place on the planet where you get to be in a building where all the departments are kind of working towards the same goal to your production. I actually saw the film before I read the book and was just instantly drawn into this sort of beautiful world that Laura Esquivel wrote. I was intrigued by these characters and the love story between Pedro and Tita and the idea that they had to repress this true love over decades.
Tita is the main character in Like Water for Chocolate. She's born in the kitchen. That really is a huge part of who she is. She's the youngest daughter, and she's also guided by Nacha, who is that maternal figure in her life, much more than her real mother, who actually is very cold and quite awful to her, really.
When we meet Mama Elena, she's running a ranch. She's got 3 daughters, and she's had to position herself in a very male-orientated world, and there isn't a lot of time for emotions.
Tita's emotions play a huge part of how everyone else feels, because she sort of puts those emotions into her food, and she has these powers to kind of affect everyone around her through her cooking.
When we first meet Pedro in the ballet, he's obviously a child, and he's obviously has this incredible relationship with Tita. He senses her magic. You see him growing up and that friendship becoming love, and he proposes to Tita. He's confronted with Mama Elena. She denies his request and tells him that you can marry one of my daughters, but it won't be Tita.
There are many, many factors that actually lead Mama Elena to be how she is. She's experienced trauma, and she definitely passes that on and doubles it on Tita. There is this feeling of, why do you think your life will be easier?
The female characters in the story are so strong. They're all willful and determined and resilient, but they are all flawed, and I think that was an appealing factor in choosing this for a ballet.
This is set fairly and squarely in 1910 in northern Mexico. We know exactly the village where it's set. And so the music and everything else about the production has to acknowledge that. Everything in the score is originally composed, but I'm hoping that there's a sort of essence in the choice of instruments which gives you that sense of place.
That tempo is not going to work, is it?
Having Alondra as such a support and advisor in this has been amazing.
Was it roughly the right,
Roughly about the right amount of time.
Christopher Wheeldon is one of my closest friends. When he said, you're going to be the conductor and you're going to be the consultant, and I was literally jumping up and down, because it's rare that a Mexican story gets such an important stage. For me, that's as a Mexican, a big accomplishment for our culture.
We have a few notes before we start, because there's been some changes.
Joby and I have been sharing references to music from Mexico. He's been incredible at listening and adapting with his own voice. I also connected him to several key musicians from Mexico, like Tomás Barreiro, who's a great guitarist and composer and also knows the folklore of Mexico very well. The final result is sounding like Joby, but with flavors of Mexican culture.
What I've tried to do is something that clearly tells the story musically, but being mindful that the most important thing is the dance. Try to give Chris a platform on which to build wonderful choreography and then something that these extraordinary dancers at the Royal Ballet can dance to.
Yeah, let's actually go on.
The process was so interesting because I think Chris, he has such a specific eye and he really knows what he wants from each scene.
There could be a nice moment for the two of you after this lift of, I'm so glad you're feeling better.
He already knows that these people are going to find their way into the character that he has chosen for them. He has a great eye for that, I think.
I feel like he's the only person that could truly do justice to this within the language of ballet, and just have front seats, you know, in creating a character that is so complex. It's been really amazing.
The dancers here, they know the way that I work, and that makes it easier, especially when you're diving into a big story ballet where you're asking them to create character and you sort of know the strengths and weaknesses.
Let's just talk about how we're getting into those, because it looks a little manufactured. Take me. That's it. It's like she, I think, is saying,
Touch me.
Put your hands on me. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I've created on Marcy before. I've not created on Francesca Hayward before, so this is my first time actually making something for her. She has an instinct, particularly dramatically, that is sort of unparalleled.
I think one of my favorite things about the choreography so far is there are some moments in the pas de deux where it's almost like they don't even need to look at each other. They just kind of are so connected, and it's a really special kind of love. Marcy's one of my favorite people ever, so that's brilliant. We have to be very intimate with each other in this ballet, so it really helps being with someone that you have so much trust in.
I feel like getting a creation on you, it's leaving a legacy in a space, and to do it alongside Francesca Hayward and the incredible cast has been such a ball, really.
I hope this ballet takes the audience on a journey. I always try to make work that connects in some way.
Chris is an absolute master at storytelling. It's just beautiful.
You'll just be totally wrapped up in all the madness, all the emotions. You'll get totally carried away.
We're taking this genre of storytelling dance and taking places that it's never been before.
I know that it's going to be incredible. It's just so flawless and so beautifully done.
It's a choreographic treat. It's a visual feast. It's ballet, but it's theater at its best.